Hey there, my friend. Before we dive into today's topic, a topic that's going to get real fast, I want to ask you for a tiny favor. Behind this podcast, there's a human being. Yep, it's me, a real person who pours hours, caffeine, and honestly, probably too many late-night snacks into creating content that starts conversations most people run away from. So, here's the deal. If you like these topics, if you value these raw, honest discussions, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, and share this podcast with someone who needs to hear it. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it helps me keep this show going. All right, enough groveling, let's get into it. Welcome back to Salud al Dia. Today, we're talking about something that's rarely discussed openly, but affects a lot of people: porn addiction. Now, before you start squirming in your seat or thinking, oh man, I did not sign up for this level of self-reflection today, relax. This isn't about shaming you, judging you, or making you feel guilty. This is about understanding. It's about self-awareness. And most importantly, it's about finding balance. Let's kick things off with a very simple truth. Watching porn doesn't automatically make you a porn addict, just like having a beer doesn't make you an alcoholic. But, yes, there's always a but, the line between normal habit and problematic behavior can sometimes get blurry. So how do you know if you've crossed it? How do you know if porn is quietly, sneakily starting to take control of your life? Take a moment. Ask yourself these questions, and for the love of honesty, be real with yourself. Are you watching porn every day, multiple times a day? Are you missing out on work, school, or social events because you'd rather spend time with your screen? Are you feeling drained afterward, not just physically but emotionally? Do you feel like porn is starting to replace real human intimacy? If you're nodding along to any of this, my friend, we might need to talk. But here's the thing, understanding where you stand compared to the average guy can actually give you some clarity. On average, studies show that most men in the United States watch porn about 1 to 2 times a week. That's the average. If you're clocking in way above that, like you're training for the Porn Olympics, it might be time to reassess. And what about masturbation? Let's be clear, masturbation is normal. Science tells us that young men, on average, masturbate about 2 to 3 times a week. Some do it more, some do it less, and guess what? Both are fine. It only becomes an issue when it starts interfering with your daily life, your goals, your relationships, or your sense of self-control. Let me paint a picture for you. If your routine looks like wake up, coffee, porn, shower, maybe, work, lunch, porn, Netflix, porn, bedtime, porn, buddy, we need to talk, because at that point it's not just a habit, it's a crutch. Now let's break this down even more. Why does porn become addictive? Well, it's not just about the visuals, it's about the dopamine hit. Every time you watch, your brain releases dopamine, that feel-good chemical. And just like any other dopamine-triggering activity, whether it's sugar, gambling, or scrolling through social media, it can become compulsive. The more you watch, the more extreme the content might need to be to get the same hit. It's like chasing the dragon, except the dragon is on an adult website. But don't freak out. You are not broken. You are not doomed. And yes, you can absolutely get this under control. The first step, self-awareness. If you've made it this far into the podcast, congrats. You've already crossed step 1. Recognizing that there might be a problem is half the battle. The second step, set some boundaries. Look, I'm not saying go cold turkey. If you've been watching 3 times a day, cutting down to 0 overnight might feel impossible. Instead, start small. Maybe reduce it to once a day, then every other day. Progress, not perfection. And here's an idea. Find better coping mechanisms. A lot of excessive porn use isn't about sexual desire, it's about boredom, stress, or loneliness. Go for a walk, hit the gym, pick up a hobby. Learn to cook something other than instant noodles. Fill your time with something that leaves you feeling proud instead of drained. Now, here's where things get tough. What if you've tried cutting back and it's not working? What if it feels like no matter how hard you try, you're stuck in the cycle? That's when it might be time to ask for help. And listen, there's no shame in that. Therapy isn't just for people in crisis, it's for anyone who wants to live a healthier, happier life. There are professionals out there who specialize in addiction, and they can help you understand the why behind your habits. But let me make something very clear. Porn isn't evil. It's not the villain in this story. The problem isn't porn itself. It's when porn becomes your escape hatch for every emotion, every stress, every awkward moment in your life. It's about balance, control, and not letting a screen become more fulfilling than real human connection. Let's also talk about how this affects relationships. If you're in a relationship and porn is causing tension, be honest with your partner. Hiding it, feeling ashamed, or lying about it only makes things worse. Have an open conversation. If they care about you, and if the relationship is worth it, they'll appreciate your honesty and support your efforts to find balance. At the end of the day, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest with yourself and taking small, consistent steps toward a healthier relationship with, well, yourself. If you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, this might be me, don't panic. You're not alone and you're not broken. You've got this. Start today, start small, and remember, you're in control. All right, my friends, that's it for today. If this episode gave you something to think about, or maybe even made you laugh a little, please hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Every like, every share, it all makes a difference, and it means the world to me. This is Salud al Dia, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Stay mindful, stay balanced, and most importantly, stay honest with yourself. Super! This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional, medical or psychological advice, diagnosis or treatment. Always consult a qualified professional for any concerns you may have. On-screen text.